It was nearly midnight when Daniel heard it, a sudden knock at the door. In a quiet neighborhood where the only sound was the ticking of an old clock, that knock felt like thunder. He wasn't expecting anyone. He lived alone, but when he opened the door, he froze. A young woman stood there, barefoot, drenched from head to toe, her dark hair plastered to her face. She wore nothing but an oversized white shirt, and behind her trembling lips was the faintest, tearful smile. Daniel instantly knew this moment was about to change everything. Daniel Carter was a 38-year-old carpenter, a widower who had lived in silence for 3 long years. His wife had died in a car accident, and since then, his small house on the edge of Denver had felt like a prison of memories. He worked, he ate alone, he slept alone, and he never expected a knock like this one. The girl's voice was fragile when she whispered, "Please." I didn't know where else to go. Daniel's instincts told him to ask questions, to be cautious, but something in her broken tone reminded him of a promise he once made to never abandon those in need. So he stepped aside and let her in. He gave her a blanket, a steaming mug of cocoa, and space to breathe. She sat quietly for a long time, staring at the floor before finally speaking. "My name is Lily," she said. Her voice shook. "I'm sorry for showing up like this. I had to run. I couldn't stay." Daniel didn't press her. Sometimes silence is the kindest response. Hours later, she explained. She was supposed to marry a man the next morning, 10 years older, rich and controlling. Her stepfather had arranged it, claiming it would save their family. But Lily knew it would destroy her. So she climbed out of her window, braved the storm, and walked until she reached Daniel's home. Confused, Daniel asked, "How do you know me?" Her eyes softened. "Years ago, my mom worked in your shop. She told me if I was ever in trouble, I could come here, because you were kind." Daniel remembered her mother, Elena, a strong, hard-working woman who had lost her battle with cancer just a year after his wife's death. Elena often said, "Kindness echoes, Daniel. You never know when it'll return." And now, here it was. In the days that followed, Lily stayed in Daniel's guest room. She never asked for more than he offered. Instead, she cooked meals, folded laundry, and slowly began to share pieces of her life. At just 22, she had already endured too much. Her stepfather's debts, his control, and a stolen youth. Daniel offered her not just shelter, but respect, safety, and space to heal. But the town was less kind. Rumors spread like wildfire. She's half his age. She's after his money. She doesn't belong there. One afternoon, Lily asked him, "Do you want me to leave?" "I don't want people ruining your name." Daniel looked her straight in the eye. "People will always talk. What matters is what we know in here," he said, placing his hand over his heart. "And I know you're safe here. But safety doesn't last forever." One night, headlights cut through the window as a black SUV pulled up outside. Lily's face went pale. "It's him," she whispered. Before Daniel could react, the door burst open. A well-dressed man stormed in, flanked by bodyguards. "She's coming with me," he barked. Daniel stepped forward, calm but firm. "No, she isn't. She's mine. She was promised to me." The man growled. Daniel's voice turned cold. "She's not property. She's a human being. And she decides." Tears welled in Lily's eyes as she stepped out from behind him. "I'd rather die than go back with you." The man lunged, but Daniel caught his arm and twisted it until the man gasped in pain. "Leave, before the police arrive." The intruder hesitated, then backed down. The SUV sped away into the night, leaving Lily sobbing in Daniel's arms. In the weeks that followed, Daniel helped her rebuild her life. He connected her with an organization that supported women escaping forced marriages. He encouraged her to see a therapist, and he quietly bought her paints and canvases after learning about her love for art. One morning, Daniel walked into the living room and found a painting drying near the window. It showed his front door, and in front of it a girl soaked in rain with a fragile smile. "It's how I looked when you first saw me," Lily said softly. Daniel smiled. "And it's how I knew you were real." Their bond wasn't born of romance, but of something deeper: respect, trust, and healing. They shared meals, laughter, and late-night talks that slowly stitched their broken hearts together. A year later, Lily held her first art exhibition. Her paintings told her story, of storms, survival, and second chances. Daniel stood proudly in the front row, not as a lover, but as a friend, a guardian, and a witness to her courage. When a reporter asked Lily who changed her life, she replied, "A stranger who opened his door, not just to the storm outside but to the storm inside me." Because kindness doesn't always look like a superhero. Sometimes it's just a man opening a door at midnight. This was HQ Infinite Stories, reminding you that one act of kindness might be someone's turning point. So, if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope, and don't forget to subscribe for more true-to-life tales of courage and compassion.